Hello everyone. Earlier today I created a video showing you how to create columns by going to layout and clicking here to create your columns. You have a limitation on what you can do doing it this way. So I'm going to show you a way how you can create your own columns. So I'm going to create a new document, and let me go ahead and close that one because I don't need it. Okay, so on the first page I'm going to make it 8.5 by 11. On the other page I'm going to make it a let me see, I'll make it 11 by 8.5. So the first thing I'm going to go ahead and do is go to layout, create a page break so that I can have two documents, but on this one here I'm going to make the orientation landscape. Therefore it'll be 11 by 8.5. Here I'm going to create two columns, and here I'll create 3 columns. So to create your own columns, if you click here and you go to home, let's go to insert, let's go to page box, click on that, and you're going to select the simple text box. And the first thing you want to do is click here and change the layout option for that box. And I'm going to click here where it says in front of text. That will allow me to move it around the page, right? So, and I'm going to need 2 of these guys here. So first of all, I need to make this box the width and height that I'm going to need. So the width is going to be, if you go right in here, I can make it, let's say 3.5. Okay, that's the width. And then the height of it, I'm going to have it 10 feet tall, not 10 feet, 10 inches tall. Now, I want this to be 1/2 inch from here and 1/2 inch from here, right? So the best and easiest way to do it is to go in here. You see this little button here? Well, first of all, you want to be on the shape format, and you only get that when you have text boxes and shape boxes, right? So if I click here, I'll go to position, I'll go to more layout options. I want to use absolute position on my horizontal and vertical position, right? The first thing you want to do is turn this guys into page, and then this one into page. That way you can get absolute coordinates. So here I'm going to say 0.5, and if you notice it went to the left hand side, right? Then I'm going to go in and do my absolute position for the vertical and put 0.5. So now what that's given me is 1/2 inch at the top, 1/2 inch at the left, and 1/2 inch at the top, bottom. Now I need another box. Okay, so I'm going to hit Control C since I already have all my measurements there, and I'm going to hit Control V. Now I'm going to create, okay, so I know that the top part has to be 1/2 inch. So I have to add 1/2 inch by 3.5 plus another half should give me 4.5 inches from the left side of this box. So I'm going to go into my shape box format. I'm going to go to positioning, more layout options, and it's already set to 5 since we did it earlier. So this right here has to be 4.5, and this one has to be 0.5. Now that gives me 2 columns that are equally the same, and it gives me 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch, and 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch. So I'm going to delete the text, and I'm going to delete that text because I'm going to link all that stuff together. Now on this other page, I'm going to create something different here. Let me make sure that I have good. Here I'm going to create 3 columns. So, so 3 columns. So we got half inch, 3 columns, half inch, 3 columns, and half inch. So the columns are going to have to be 3 width. The width is going to have to be 3. And another thing I want to make sure that my layout, my margins are half inch all the way around. Right now it's 1 inch, so I'm going to change it to half inch. Now I'm going to do the same thing I did here. I'm going to click here. I'm going to go insert. I'm going to go to page box, click on the first one, and it'll place a box in there. Like I told you earlier, the first thing you want to do is turn it into in front of text. That will allow us to move this thing around. So what I would do is I would make sure I make it to the size of this box, because I'm going to copy and paste it 3 times. So if I click here, I know that it's 8 inches tall. So if I put half an inch at the bottom, half an inch at the top, it's going to give me a 7.5 inch tall box. So I'll just go right in here and put 7.5. And then so width is 11. So, and I want a half inch here, then we're going to have another box, half inch, and another box. So let me see, 3.5, 3.5. So I need 0.5 in between each one of them. So that makes this box, it has to be 3 wide. Okay, so I'm going to hit 3. And then I have to put it in the right position. So I'm going to go to position. I'm going to go more layout options. You see right now it says column. Make sure you change those to page, or you could do it with column, but I'm showing you this way for right now. So the absolute should be 0.5 and 0.5. Now I should be able to create 3 of them, and it should all be even. So I'm going to select that box. I'm going to hit Control-C to copy it, since I've already got the measurements right. I'm going to hit Control-V. Okay. Now, we already got the width and the height. All I have to do is make sure I got it in the right position. So if I go to my shape format, go to position, go to more layout options, it's page, right? So here, if you add 0.5, 3, and 0.5 is 4 inches. And then the height of it, we already know the height, but the absolute position should be 0.5. And remember, this is just, I'm being, I don't know if anal is a bad word or not, but I'm being anal. You would probably just do it just by drawing it. I'm just, I use mathematical stuff. That's how I operate. I don't know why. But anyway, I'm going to copy that. I'm going to hit Control-V to create another text box. I'm going to move it here. We already got the width and the height of it. So now I'm going to go to my shape format, go to position, go more layout options, and start set to page and page, right? So here to the left, so I have, let me see. So I got 0.5, 3, 0.5, 3, and 0.5 should be 7.5. Okay, so now I put 7.5, and the absolute positioning on the vertical should be 0.5, and that should give me an equal distance, 0.5, 3, 0.5, 3, 0.5, 3, and 0.5, with 0.5 at the top, 0.5 at the bottom. Okay, so those are even. I'm going to delete those. Now what I'm going to do, so watch this. First, I'm going to go to this box. And there's a formula in Microsoft Office that you can, and you see me using it all the time on a lot of my videos. I'm just going to put random text. So I don't know how many sentences I need. So what I'm going to do is hit equals. I'm going to put RAND for random text. I'm going to open parentheses. I want to start with 20 paragraphs, and I'm going to put 5 sentences per paragraph. Close my parentheses, hit enter. Now you don't see it, but there's a lot of text that it stopped right there. So if I click here, you see this thing that says create link under my shape format. If first you select a box, it doesn't matter where, as long as it's inside, you create link. Now you tell it where you want. You see that little coffee cup? If you click there, it continued it from here to here. Now if I want to continue this from here to here, I would click here. So first of all, watch, let me show you something. If I click here, you see how it says break link. If I click here, it says create link. So I click here and I'm going to create a link to continue to this one. Okay, now if I click here, it'll give me the option to create a link to this one. So I'm going to create link and click here. If I click here, it'll allow me to create another link to here. So I'm going to click here, create link, and I pushed it over to that. So I did put enough text in there. There's probably still a lot more in there. So I don't know how much it is, but so, and so what I'm going to do is I am going to create a, let me see if it'll let me create a new box. I want to see how much text is still available. So I'm just going to create a box right in here. And I threw it out of place. It's no big deal. I'm just want to do something. So I'm going to create a text box here. And I'm going to make it huge. That way I know how much to delete out of here. So now I'm going to see what's left on this text box. So I'm going to click here and I'm going to link it to this. So I'm going to click here, create link, and overflow the text. Here, you see there was not that much left. So I can go ahead and just delete this text right here. Okay. Here, I deleted too much. Okay, so now I'm gonna go ahead and delete this box and delete this page. So if I click here, it deleted my page. I'm just gonna save it just because, just in case. So now watch what happens to the text. Since all this stuff is linked to each other, watch what happens to this text. I'm going to go ahead and delete, let's say, this much. So if I went in and added a photo, let's say I wanted to add a photograph in here, or let's say I wanted to add a heading down here. Watch. I'm going to move this down. Look what's happening to all the text because I have it linked. So I'm going to do the same thing here and move this text so that I can put a heading up there. Then let's put a little more space. So I can go in there and mathematically go in and tell this two to be exactly the same. So you can cheat without having to go mathematically like I did earlier, right? So watch what I usually do when I'm in a hurry. If I go to insert, I go to shape, and I create just a line. I can go and create a line anywhere in the page, right? So I'm gonna get that first one. Actually, wow, I created those almost identically just by eyeballing it. But let's say this one was like this. Now that I have a line there, I can go in here and move this up to that line. That way everything looks uniform. Okay, so if I delete this, now we have two text boxes, and then I could go in here and add a another text box. So I'm going to hit insert. I'm going to hit that thing again. I'm going to click here, and I'm going to change this again, right? So now I can move this down here and move it down here. Delete the text. I'm going to center it by hitting Control C. So when I type, oh, Control E, when I type, and I'm going to use this text right here. Okay, I'm going to put COLUMN column text, and let's go ahead and make it Control A, Control A. Okay, so I'm just doing that just so you can see what you can do with this text. Now let's say that I wanted a photo here. So if I put a photo down here, then all this text will move when I put a photo in there. So I'm going to click here. I am going to go in and go to Insert, Pictures, Stock Image. I'm just going to grab anything. How about this image here? I'm going to hit Insert, and you see how that text moved around. Now I don't like doing it this way because I'm limited to what I can do with that text, because I accidentally put it inside that text box, right? So I'm going to hit Control Z. I'm going to click away from inside any one of those boxes you see right here on the right. This time I'm going to do the same thing. Insert, Picture Box, Stock Image. This time I'll pick some flowers, hit Insert, and it put it in the back. Okay, so now I'm going to go in like I always do and change my box to be in front of text. Now I can move it to where I want, right? So what I want to do is have it right here on the left hand corner, and I'm going to reduce it. So if I click on the right hand anchor point, it will enlarge and reduce proportionately. Okay, if I click on the middle ones, it will enlarge and it makes it unproportionate. So whenever you doing this, when you're using your photos, always remember that the center ones will stretch it and the corner ones will enlarge proportionately. Okay, now right now the text is right underneath there because of the way that I formatted that picture earlier. This time I'm going to click here and click on this one right here where it says square. What's going to happen is going to push the text down because it's in front of the text. Look what happens here and look what happens here. Well, all the text is going to flow around. Look, I'm going to click and okay, so it don't want to let me because I'm not inside that text box. Okay, so I can't go in here now that I have the right size photo. So it's gonna, so look, what's this? I'm gonna make it just a little bit like that. Okay, so I'm gonna hit Control X, click in here, hit Control V, and now you see my text. Watch, you see how the text moves. And you could continue adding text, same thing down here. Let's say that I wanted to put a heading down here. Since everything's linked to each other, I could go in, move this down, and then, let's say I want this one to be the same height of that. I can go insert, shape, click on a line. Oops. Then move it to the top of that. Click right here and move it down to it. Let's say I like the way this one looked. I could hit Control C, go down here, hit Control V. Oh, copied the wrong thing here. Control C, click down here, Control V, and let's say I can make it to the width of that. So another thing, watch this. Let's say that I wanted this line to be aligned with this line, and I didn't want to draw a line. I can click here, click on this two, right? I can go to shape format. On the alignment, I want it left, and it's gonna go to this one. Since this is the furthest one to the left, this one will line up perfectly to this. So I'm gonna align left. You see how it went to the left? Then all I would have to do is so watch this. Let me show you a trick. Let's say that I want to make sure that I move this one over to this right here. If I click here, and I can go up and down, right? Look, even though I'm down here, look, I'm lining up to this by, remember, I started moving down here, so now I can align it right here to this just by the way I did that. Okay? And look at that. It filled up the text. There's a bunch of other tricks, but this is just the basics. I just wanted to show you the advantage of creating your own columns. Now, let's say that you didn't want those, you see the lines on those columns? We can click on each one of these items, go to the shape format, and remove that line. Okay? And let's say you don't want lines on this one. You can do the same thing. You can, remove the lines. Well, guys, that's all I wanted to show you. If you like my video, give me a thumbs up, and watch my other videos. I have a bunch of little tricks that I learned, and it'd be nice to have you watch my videos. Thank you. Bye.